back once again. Here we are, another edition of Inside the Headset. It is week 2. Game 2 is quickly upon us. I'm on the campus of Oakland High School. I got with me the head coach of the Oakland Patriots, head coach Kevin Creasy. How you doing today, Coach?
Doing well, Stuart.
Well, last Saturday night, just a quick few days ago, you got into battle over at Christ Presbyterian Academy, Ingle Martin and the Lions, and got out there on the field, and man, what a great display. The kids just got out there. I think you had at least 6 kids to score, but came away a big winner, 56-7. I think it was the final score when the clock stopped, but was able to get a lot of kids in. Take it away, Coach.
Yeah, what a great atmosphere. It was their kickoff to their school year over there. Had, a bunch of food trucks, had every elementary kid you could think of over there waiting for the game, and it was a packed house, capacity crowd, like no one else could get in. That's how full it was. And their stadium is great. Their playing surface is all natural. It's amazing. They've built a great little athletic facility over there, a new building where I think it's got the gym and locker rooms. So they're a first class program. Coach Martin does a great job, and like I said, he's had trouble over the years finding opponents, and so we ran into each other and probably going to keep playing because you got a great measuring stick right there going against CPA and all their good coaches. And like I said, the thing kind of got away from them because of turnovers, but it's back and forth for a while, and like I said, there was just certain things where we just got great field position, and and it was just it became a game that got out of hand, and we were really thinking it was going to be a one-possession game the whole time.
Well, and someone I was talking to that on the phone during your game was telling me that Coach Martin is one of those people that, boy, when he gets week 9, week 10, before he gets ready to go into the playoffs, well, you definitely don't want any part of it because he's going to get those little bugs, those little things he's got. He gets in that laboratory and kinks around and pulls this kid, moves this kid around. He understands just like you do. It's a good measuring stick he gave him. I bet you if you tune in Friday night, he comes away a winner. He turns that ball club around.
I think he plays Thursday night.
Okay.
So they got a quick turnaround too.
Oh.
But at the same time, he's got some parts he's going to move around. You look at what he did last year. He had some tough games, and he plays. I thought I had a tough schedule. That guy has the toughest schedule in the state. There's no doubt about it. He plays one of the best teams in Ohio. He plays one of the best teams in Mississippi. He's got his normal schedule. He's playing 3A ball in the private school league, and so you just look at his schedule. It's unbelievable. He plays Pearl Cone this week, so just unbelievable schedule. And like I said, last year he went through the gauntlet and went third round, I think, before finally getting stopped by Brentwood Academy, but gave those guys a game. So he knows what he's doing. He knows it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, and he's in it for the long haul.
Well, and a lot of people said, or this gentleman I was talking to, he said, that talent, some of those kids used to go to a Brentwood High School or staying around there, and now they're choosing because there's better coaching. And Ingle Martin, not being mean to anybody there, but everybody knows Ingle Martin is a good coach over on that side of town. Kids are going to gravitate towards good coaching, and so are the parents. It's not anything we're beating up anybody. It's just it's the way it is.
I think CPA has a great
because CPA was not in the cards coaching 2010.
But I'll say this: Brentwood has great coaching.
Oh yeah,
You go right down the road, Centennial, Brentwood, Franklin. You go to you look over there what Summit's done in the past, and don't forget Ravenwood.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting.
So so there's a lot of great options for parents.
Right, but he was saying, in 2010 you have traditional Brentwood, you have traditional Brentwood Academy, and BGA was just they had just added their indoor facility at that time. You all had added yours right after the 2008 state championship. Those are just some time periods, but it's moved around. But more trainers, more kids. The talent is just better in Middle Tennessee overall since 2010. It's just grown, hasn't it?
It has. There's a lot of talent in Middle Tennessee for sure.
Well, enough of that. Great win. Got a lot of kids out. Glad to see. Looks like everything went pretty good. You did get some nicks and bruises. It wasn't all smooth play. You still got to have to get into the film room, get them back out on the film because we got a tough one this week on the road. And let's talk about that. We go back, and I think it was a couple of years ago, you chose to go to Center Grove, Indiana. And then we turned around, we had to load them up, take them to Texas. I did not make that trip. And then last year, I followed you, we went up to Kentucky. We played in that one. And now you're going 6 hours to Centerville, Ohio, going to take on the Elks. They were unfortunate in their contest last Friday night, but a long tradition, coach, of Elk football, and you're ready to see this club, aren't you?
Yeah, they played a team, Lakota East.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody knows anything about Lakota East, but glad I didn't open up the Lakota East. They are loaded, and they look really good, and Centerville's really good. And so we've got our hands full, short week, all that stuff. We're not going to make excuses, but we got a long bus ride Friday, and our guys are fired up. We're going to miss a little bit of school, and then we'll get to play football in another state, which is always exciting. And then, these guys are getting to check out a part of the country a lot of them hadn't seen, and, different kind of football that they aren't accustomed to. And so their brand of football is tough, hard-nosed. They got a lot of players that love to strike you with that helmet. I love the way they play. I got to know their coach a little bit, just conversing back and forth, swapping film. Coach Pug is one of those guys that does a great job. Defensive coordinator that got promoted to head coach over the years. And, I think he led them. Was it 2 years ago? I think they went all the way to the quarters or semifinals. And like I said, the coach left and he got promoted and doing a heck of a job. And like I said, got some really good, talented players.
Yeah, and they got knocked out by Moeller last year in the playoffs. So Moeller, national program right there, coach.
Yeah, there's some really good football in Ohio. There's everybody knows that, and we went up the road, like I said, a few hours up the road to Indiana, and we took one of the worst little tail kickings.
I tell you what, man, we got our tail whipped. We didn't say a word. We didn't say a word to anybody as we was leaving town. Get our gas and get out, man.
It was bad. It was bad. Center Grove, gave it to us, and like I said, they had a heck of a team. And, they won like 3 in a row or something up there. And like I said, the quarterback's now, I think he's at Indiana, and they got some players at different places. But that was a very humbling experience. And I'll say this, it probably helped more losing to those guys than it helped, beating those guys. We learned a lot about ourselves that year, and like I said, it was a very, very good early game to play.
Well, and this travel does give the kids a chance to do some bonding and get to know each other, and that bonding helps. You see that as a part of an ingredient as you want to try to get to as you get to week 9, week 10. That bonding helps you as you try to get into first round of the playoffs and continue on.
Yeah, the way the playoffs are set, you may be on the road first round, second round, third round. You're going to be on the road at some point. And so our guys got to learn how to travel, and we got to learn how to, get everything rolling in the right direction. Get the equipment trailer loaded up, make sure nobody's forgotten their cleats, make sure there's no helmets flying out, going down the road like we had last week. I think we had a little bus issue where a latch broke, and next thing you know, we got equipment rolling down the road. People calling me, telling me about it.
And that ain't cheap equipment just flying down the road. No. How much does a helmet cost, a brand new one, if you buy it off the shelf today?
Off the shelf, it depends what kind you get. But you can get them for $300, but they're as high as $1,100.
Is that a lineman's helmet that's $1,100? What makes them more expensive?
Well, they got all this good technology now and sensors and everything else in it. So, whatever you're looking for, they got it in the helmet. And like I said, like anything else, there's a nice $300 helmet, and it worked their way up to $1,100.
And we were talking before the show started, talking about just equipment in general, what it takes to run a football program. And I don't want to get off on a tangent here, but it's like you were telling me, I was here earlier in the summer and stopped by to drop something off, and I think they were looking for somebody because you had a new lineman blocking sled. And, I was asking, what does one of those cost? And go ahead and share with them.
Yeah, we've got a little 2-man sled, we can work, and I think it's about $3,000. We got us a nice little block destruction defensive piece of equipment that probably runs $4,000. Got a little ball machine that throws balls all day long for a couple thousand. And you know, we try to get some equipment where we're not just hitting each other all the time. But you know, the most expensive equipment I was telling you is our huddle equipment. You know,
Technology.
Our technology. You know, we got sideline replay systems, and then we've got all of our film, you know, loaded all the way back to the 2020.
They got you by the throat.
And I'm telling you, it's hard to get away from it. You know, it's how we swap film, it's how we watch practice, it's how we break down film. So yes, you know, whatever they charge, we're probably going to have to pay it for now.
Yeah. But back up, and then we'll get out of here. Let's mention some kids and everything. You had a lot of kids in on Friday and Saturday night. It's not Friday night, Saturday night, I'm sorry. Saw a lot of football this past weekend, but you had a lot of kids in on Saturday night, and just, you know, Cam Morton, you know, he went and he ran the game for you, and then had Dante and then some of those other guys get in. Talk a little bit of just about how it went a little bit different than what folks saw last year out of the Oakland Patriots.
Yeah, you know, Dante was all over the field, had a couple touchdowns. Like I said, 6 different guys scored. That doesn't happen all the time. You know, like 11 different guys touched the football. That doesn't happen all the time. You know, the good part is the same as the bad part. The good part is, you know, those guys aren't happy just getting a few touches. The bad part is those guys aren't happy just getting a few touches. So they got to perform. When they get their opportunity, they better be performing. Because, you know, there's only one ball to go around, and there's a lot of guys that want it. And then if you turn back around on the defense, there's a lot of guys that want, you know, on the field. We got, you know, 15 guys, you know, that are shooting for 11 spots. And you look at Marion Owens. Marion, you know, was backing up Craig Tudd all last year. So, you know, every once in a while, Craig Tudd run an 80-yard touchdown, Marion get in. But now
They didn't ever play.
Now he's the man, you know,
Yeah.
and so he showed out, had 3 sacks, you know, forced fumble, 4 or 5 tackles. So he took full advantage of his opportunity.
Yeah, and you know, that's what you ask for is these kids, is, you know, when their time comes and the bell rings and everything and we call your name, it's, you got to be on the field, you got to be ready and got to be ready to go, because it's a short time, because 48 minutes, it goes by so quick when you're in that game, aren't they? Because they started talking about, I mean, let's look at this last Saturday night. Possessions, or in some of the other games, possession starts to lean on you like it did with the BGA game and some of them in that early going. You know, once you get behind so many possessions, the game's just going to kind of get away from you, isn't it, Coach?
Yeah, I've got all those good high school kickoff games. I got them all recorded. I ain't got to see any of them yet, but I'm looking forward to watching them maybe during fall break or something.
All right. This Friday night, we're on the road, kids, and that's an hour difference. So if you're following the Patriots, it's going to have an hour difference. About 6 hours up there. Our bus is going to be leaving right around 9, 10 o'clock. We hope you all will follow us all up, and we'll watch the Patriots and Elks get after it at 7 o'clock.